everything in our power to bring help to those affected by drought in the country.
Fighting hunger the Kenyan way, but for how long?
Plus, a day-long standoff in Kamiti prison as an inspection yields smuggled contraband.
This election, as we go for it, is set. And if it is set, we should not participate in it.
And why ODM's upcoming elections threaten to split the Orange Party.
Also coming up, a narrow escape for Kisumu duo after a life-and-death battle with crocodiles.
This is KTN Prime with Nancy Kachungira and Ben Kitili.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of KTN Prime.
Many thanks for joining us on the program tonight. In the midst of a ravaging famine in parts of the country, President Uhuru Kenyatta is admitting to the shame of a government distributing relief food yet again.
The president spoke when he flagged off another convoy of vehicles to ferry relief food to areas hard hit by drought. Here's Angel Katusia with that report.
Hungry men and women, old and young, children suffering malnutrition from Turkana, Wajir to Samburu and even the coast. Pictures of starving Kenyans that are quickly taking center stage on television screens and front pages of newspapers. Reports from affected areas indicate the number of people who do not know where their next meal will come from is rising quickly. And just as in drought situations in previous years, the government is distributing relief food. President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off 11 lorries, all filled with relief food to hunger-stricken areas.
The food here includes 16,500 bags of rice, 6,600 bags of beans, 1,650 cartons of cooking oil, 1,650 bales of Nutropap, all valued at approximately 186 million shillings. This will be taken to Isiolo, Garissa, Wajir, Baringo, Narok, and Mandera counties.
To actually show the country that we are doing something. And that's really one key reason why we have these kind of functions. Because ordinarily the statement is the government is doing nothing. This is something.
The president has admitted that it's shameful for a government to send relief food to its people, year in, year out.
I think you've seen me in various parts of the country addressing myself to this issue, launching irrigation programs, trying to revive ones that have collapsed, all with the aim of ensuring that this, what you call a national embarrassment, which it is actually resolved once and for all.
The government has set aside 4.3 billion shillings to fight hunger this year. Figures given by the Ministry of Devolution and Planning 2 weeks ago showed already 1.7 million Kenyans are facing severe food crises in 14 counties. The majority of these are in northeastern and coast regions. Angel Katusia, KTN.
Now, the Kamiti maximum prison was turned into a battlefield following an attempted prison break by inmates. The mayhem was reportedly triggered by the prisoners' refusal to submit to a routine inspection for contraband. As KTN's Ashamulu reports, the facility is now under total lockdown.
Mid-morning scenes outside the Kamiti maximum prison. Trouble inside the country's biggest correctional facility. A reinforcement of prison warders were ready for battle, and in no time at all, the facility was under lockdown. A distance away, those arriving to visit their friends or relatives in the prison were turned away. The warders would have no one near the prison. Those who live around the facility could only catch snippets of what was going on.
Wakati nilikuwa huko ngambo nilisikia mlio wa risasi na sikujua ni nini nafanyika.
Kitu saa 4 hivi ndio tukaanza kusikia mlio wa alarm. Kidogo tukasikia marisasi.
As ambulances dashed off the dusty road, prison authorities finally broke their silence.
This morning we are carrying out routine search because it's a requirement to keep our prison safe. And some prisoners resisted the search. In the process, one prisoner has been badly injured by fellow prisoners, and 2 prison officers who are also injured in the process.
In the midst of the scuffle, a few inmates reportedly tried to escape.
These prisoners, as they were resisting search, they had climbed over the roof of one of the wards. And one of them had jumped. He was in the process. In fact, now when that occurs, now escape comes in.
This is what the prisoners were not ready to surrender. Dozens of mobile phone handsets, hundreds of SIM cards, and other contraband goods were recovered. The incident has resurrected more than just the skeletons inside Committee Maximum Prison. It has also sparked critical questions over the state of our prisons. Just how many prohibited items do inmates have access to? And how do they beat the thorough screening to smuggle the items into the prison?
We need to step up our gadgets in terms of making sure that we detect these articles.
Prison reforms began in earnest under the then Vice President Mudi Awori in 2002. But the authorities are still struggling to contain the menace of contraband goods, and occasional raids often yield shocking results. Ashamwilu, KTN, Nairobi.
And now an update on proceedings at The Hague. Judges at the International Criminal Court have asked the Kenyan government to give its side of the story on accusations that it has refused to cooperate with the prosecutor's office. Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda cited non-compliance by the Kenyan government, especially on matters of evidence. KTN's Edith Kimani has the details.
On the 13th of February, Attorney General Professor Githu Muigai will appear before judges at the ICC to present the position of the Republic of Kenya. In her latest application,
it has not been an easy decision.
Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda has accused the Kenyan government of non-compliance with her office being especially difficult on submitting evidence.
There has been a lack of cooperation, and it would not be right, as Mr. Gaynor has said, for this case to fail and for the prosecution to be forced to withdraw the case, as we may be in due course if the evidence does not emerge.
It is these claims Muigai is expected to address at the status conference. Bensouda's team has asked the court to deliberate on this issue before considering the termination request by President Uhuru Kenyatta. But it is not just Bensouda who is worried about justice against perpetrators. Human rights lawyer Njonjo Mue is concerned that the prosecution of perpetrators of post-election violence locally went from sluggish to dead slow.
When states leave those sorts of crimes unpunished, then it undermines the rule of law, and it leaves the particular society vulnerable to a repeat of what happened.
If your honours do not do justice in this case for the victims, nobody will.
Victims that will have to wait a little longer.
We do not know at this stage when decisions are expected on those subject matters that were discussed in yesterday's state conference vis-a-vis request for the termination or withdrawal of the charges.
In the meantime, it will be Kenya versus the Office of the Prosecution on the 13th of February as Professor Githu Muigai takes on Bensouda's team. Edith Kimani, KTN.
So ICC prosecutor Fatou Bensouda has hit a significant roadblock, and this is just one of many. So we're asking you on our big Q this evening, do you think that given the trouble she's having getting evidence, the case against Uhuru Kenyatta should be dismissed?
Indeed, that is our big question tonight. Tell us what you think. Join the conversation. You can SMS your yes or no response to 22155. You can also tweet us at KTN Kenya, at Kachungira, and at Ben_Kitilu. We shall be sampling your views and give you the poll results during this live newscast. Now, reports coming from the ongoing Law Society of Kenya elections show that Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi has conceded defeat to Tom Ojienda for the LSK slot in the Judicial Service Commission. KTN's Joy Doreen Bira has been following the elections. Now joins us live from the LSK headquarters. Joy, just tell us, what do we know so far? What's the latest from the LSK headquarters?
Thanks a lot, Ben. And yes, we are live at the LSK headquarters here in Nairobi. And we are seeing results that are a little bit, well, unexpected, but yes, are coming in. And we're here to give you the provisional results. So far, Eric Mutua has maintained his position as LSK chair, and currently the provisional results are showing that he has about a little over 2,500 votes, and we're seeing Charles Kanjama coming in, who has actually conceded defeat at 738 votes, and we are seeing Ambrose Weda, who is coming in at over 500 votes right there. But I am with Eric Mutua right here, and I'm sure he's going to speak to us as well in regard to the fact that he, as an incumbent, has maintained the seat as the LSK chair. Eric, what do you have to say? What does the future look like right now?
I think the future is very bright. I think what I can say is that I really thank the members of the Law Society, because contrary to what was expected, lawyers did not vote on tribal basis, and I think I thank God because they have shown maturity. They have shown that they are able to pick the right candidate out of all the candidates who are running, irrespective of what affiliation in terms of tribe. And I think we'll do as much as we can. I think one of the things which we may need to address is the question of the mode in which lawyers are going to campaign. We have seen complaints from the senior lawyers about the mode in which campaigns have been conducted. We are going to come up with a committee which will look at regulations and rules pertaining to campaigning, so that we can have strict rules on what a lawyer can do and what they cannot do during the campaign period.
And what about when it comes to the fact that you, as an incumbent, have retained the seat? What should we expect from you in terms of deliverables?
Yes, we are going to consider on one, upholding the rule of law. That is something which I say that I'm going to do once I'm re-elected. We're also going to be able to push for full implementation of the Constitution. That is key to ourselves. And we're going to look at the welfare of members. And lastly, we are going to see to it that the LSK International Arbitration Center is up and running, so that Kenya being the commercial hub in East and Central Africa, we can have people undertake international arbitrations in Nairobi other than going to South Africa, Nigeria, or Malaysia.
Well, thank you so much. That is Eric Mutua, the chairperson of the Law Society of Kenya, and we are here live at the LSK headquarters. But also other results coming in show the JSC representative, who actually is not Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. It is Tom Ojienda, who actually is leading with about 1,659 votes. That is about right there, and he's in the lead at the moment with the incoming provisional results. We're also seeing Ahmed Nasir, who is coming in second place right there with 1,431 votes, and we're having Okongo, who is having about 540 votes, and Ndegwa Kabaru, who is having 117 votes. So those are just in regards to the JSC representative. Also, the vice chairperson position, Lillian Omondi is in the lead with about 1,811 votes. And we're seeing Faith Waigwa, who is having about 1,635 votes. So we're seeing the chairperson and the vice chairperson retaining their seats respectively. Ben?
Thank you, Joy Doreen. We'll obviously be coming to you later on for more of those results, provisional results there, as you've heard from Joy Doreen Bira from the LSK headquarters in Nairobi, where she has just told us, of course, Tom Ojienda in the lead there, the face of the Judicial Service Commission set to change coming from those provisional results. Shall be giving you details when the full results are announced. Speaking of elections. ODM's attempts at a show of unity backfired after a delegates meeting in Nairobi degenerated into shouting matches. And as KTN Samogina reports, South Mugirango Member of Parliament Manson Nyamoya becomes the latest ODM leader to withdraw from the forthcoming party elections. Nyamoya claims the polls are intended to rubber stamp the pre-selection of certain individuals.
The South Mugirango parliamentarian dropped the bombshell, claiming that the forthcoming ODM party polls will be a mere formality to rubber stamp pre-selected individuals. Nyamoya says that the party's next crop of leaders revealed themselves on Wednesday.
The lineup is coming up. There is people who have not been active in the party, and if you look at their profile, suddenly they are shot up. Obviously, there are forces behind such a person. So when you look at the circumstances around, it's like this election, as we go for it, is set. And if it is set, we should not participate in it.
Nyamoya was to face off with Funyula MP Paulo Tuoma, Turkana Governor Josephat Nanok, Tigania East MP Mpuru Aburi, and Isaac Musau Mwilu. The Mugirango South MP has not ruled out severing ties with ODM, with confidence saying he might decamp from the party to Ford people.
But for sure, nobody knows where we are going as way to 2017. I cannot tell you that I will stand in ODM, for sure.
The genesis of his fallout with ODM is the emergence of candidates perceived as part of the right wing of the party. A lineup claimed to be backed by party leader Raila Odinga to take up the party's leadership mantle. On the flip side, Turkana Governor Josephat Nanok has lined up Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho and Budalangi MP Ababu Namwamba. Nyamoya appearing nowhere in the matrix.
ODM prepares to go for this election. It's weakening itself. When you look at that list and what it intends to achieve, if you look at it, I don't think it will go anywhere except weaken the party.
Senator Agnes Zani, while meeting Nairobi delegates to popularize the alliance, rebuffed claims of being the alleged chosen ones. The delegates meeting roped in other ODM aspirants to put up a show of party unity.
Kuna wengi wenu ambao hamjaniona, lakini sidhani kuna yule hata mmoja atasema hajanisikia, haswa juu ya mambo ya chama. Na kuna wengi ambao walichaguliwa wamekaa muda mrefu ambao hamjawasikia. Ukweli usemwe. Si Raila ni ODM. Si Raila ni ODM. Raila ni ODM na ODM ni Raila Odinga. Na tuko nyuma yake kama John Lwenye. Sisi ndio foot soldiers wake.
Lazima uwe mwanachama wa ODM asubuhi, mchana na usiku. Kwa sababu kuna wale wanatoa matamshi matamu. Wanatoa matamshi matamu asubuhi au mchana, lakini usiku wanapanga na madui wetu.
Tuendeleni tafadhali.
But the spirited solidarity show was overshadowed by heckling and confrontation among delegates, signaling the mounting rift in ODM. Talk of a preset lineup has stoked controversy in ODM, precipitating a backlash from Luo Nyanza aspirants, with at least 5 of them dropping off from the ODM race. A move that has seen some disgruntled leaders from the region now taking the party leadership head-on.
Our real enemy is Jubilee. The real match is 2017, and don't forget that. Let us not turn this practice match into a do or die where we want to destroy each other and thereby weaken our party.
We have mobilized. We are now organizing. That is why we are doing our election. Alafu, we will consolidate. Kisungu kubwa.
ODM faces a stinging yet direct salvo aimed at its heart, fired right from within. With the election process in question, the party has a monumental task to sanitize the process and entrench internal democracy, at the same time cultivate confidence among its members. Samogina, KTN, Nairobi.
Well, from those developments at Orange House, let's take a look at a case that involves some media houses. The Court of Appeal has extended the orders suspending digital migration until next Monday. When the hearing of an appeal by 3 media houses challenging digital migration began today, the court was told that the media houses want their own digital transmission licenses to ensure a level playing field with other pay TV channels.
With the lapse of the order by the Court of Appeal halting the migration to digital terrestrial television until a case challenging the move is heard and determined, the Court of Appeal began hearing the case. Before a three-judge bench led by Justice Roslyn Nambuye, three media houses, the Standard Group, the Nation Media Group and Royal Media Services, outlined grounds for their appeal.
What the appellants are opposed to is being true. Once you develop your content, you cannot carry it for yourselves. Go and give it to so-and-so to carry for you. A competitor. They are saying, we want to go digital. Give us digital licenses, give us digital frequencies.
The appellants argue that the move to issue digital transmission licenses to the pay TV companies Signet Kenya, GoTV, Pan-Africa Network Group and China's Star Times, enabling the companies to rebroadcast their signals, is unfair.
How do you give new entrants? New entrants. You give them digital frequencies and digital licenses, and you ignore media houses that for years have invested in broadcasting, and they want the digital frequencies and the digital licenses. That's a call.
The Standard Group, the Nation Media Group and Royal Media Services, through their lawyers, argue that owning digital transmission licenses will ensure they are accountable for their content.
We want to be able to guarantee our viewers that what you are seeing is accurately what we saw and what we are transmitting to you. Because if you give them to somebody else to transmit for you, we're not able to guarantee the accuracy.
The appellants argue that issuing digital transmission licenses to pay TV companies will not give a level playing field and will render their infrastructure obsolete. Earlier in the day, the three-judge bench rejected an application by the appellants seeking to introduce new evidence in the case.
The document itself is incomplete. We have only page 1 of it. We therefore do not know its order.
The judges extended the orders suspending the digital migration until Monday next week when the case resumes. Rita Tinina, KTN.
Still on that issue, now, do you understand what is expected of you in the digital TV migration process? Well, KTN's Joy Doreen Bida went out to assess just how prepared Kenyans really are for the switch to digital television.
On the day that the analog will be switched off, if somebody doesn't have a set-top box, they will not watch TV.
I don't understand about digital.
For 2 whole days, Kenyans living in Nairobi County were unable to watch television after CCK switched off the analog signal.
Article 33 vests in every Kenyan the constitutional freedom to receive information.
A court appeal filed by the Media Owners Association saw the deadline extended by an extra 45 days.
This is from 2007. We are preparing for this. And we are in 2014 and we are saying we are hurrying people. And the deadline is 1 year to go. Surely, how much time were we to give people? Tanzania has already switched off. There's some, I just saw yesterday in the newspapers that Malawi, I think, is switching off in June. So we are not hurrying.
In accordance with the international obligation for the world to go digital, Tanzania was the first country in Eastern Africa to embrace digital migration in December 2012. With only 20% of its population having access to TV, it was not earth-shaking for the bulk of the citizens when they were switched off. But they say big lessons were learned that Kenya can borrow from.
We did not switch off the entire country in 1 day because, as you know, the switchover really entails a lot of infrastructure investment, countrywide. You have to put new digital broadcast towers across the country, and it is unrealistic to expect that you're going to be able to do that in one go. So we still have some areas in the country, in Tanzania, which are still broadcasting analog. But in the cities where we do the switchover, there is no simulcast.
However, unlike in Tanzania where sensitization was done, many Kenyans need awareness on the detail of migration, and among them is understanding the purpose of the set-top box.
That one?
Personally, I don't know. Set-top box is just one box. This is the box that allows you to watch digital programs when you have your own analog TV. There are over 45 different vendors who have been approved by CCK.
Me, I'm not to buy it.
Look, you are not going to pay monthly fees. You can pay monthly fees in buying that set-top box only, but you will not be able to pay, or you will not be required to pay for the local channels. It will be free. There will be nobody will ask you to pay subscription per month. You know, that's the fear that I've noted.
What we did was to provide exemption, I think on VAT, on set-top boxes as an initial stage, so that brought down the price, I think, by 30% or so.
The free-to-air set-top boxes range from 4,000 to 8,000.
Critics have expressed concern as to why media owners are not being given licenses to carry their own signal and distribution, and also why the tender was awarded to Signet, to which KBC is a subsidiary. Pang, a Chinese-owned company, has also risen eyebrows on the criteria used to award the tender to a foreign company.
As far as I know, there was a tender which was floated by the regulator. It went through due process. It was awarded to this company. There were many other companies that were interested. They did not make it. I hear some of the bidders even went to appeal to the Public Procurement Oversight Authority. The appeal was thrown out. They went to the review board. It was thrown out. That's what I hear. So if that is not true, then if this was done, if the award to Pang was done not through the procurement law, then I'm not aware. But as far as I know it was a tender which was advertised and it went through a due procurement process.
I know because we negotiated this, that Citizen, KTN and Nation, they should be allowed to do their own transmission if they want to, because they have the hardware available.
The Communications Commission of Kenya continues to carry the blame for not creating massive awareness on the migration, downplaying the public's need to benefit from digital migration. So does the ordinary Kenyan understand digital migration?
What I would like to know about it is that why is it that they are forcing us to go there, of which many people don't want to migrate, by the way, and we are comfortable in whatever we are seeing.
There is no doubt that digital migration is the best practice for the broadcast industry. If countries like Tanzania were able to transit to digital migration without much uproar from the stakeholders, then CCK will now have to revise some of the policies to allow the concerns of the media houses addressed. Kenyans now wait for what will happen after the 45-day grace period runs out. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN.